Hello, basically this topic is basically related to the banking investment, basically that is the software investment basically which is done by the banks basically. The question is basically uh, banks basically has done the investment basically of the software basically that is the text box equal to thousand cities, text box equal to thousand cities, combo box equal to thousand cities, and radio button is equal to thousand cities. Means to create one radio button, to create one text box, to create checkbox, to create one push button of the websites of the all the SAP, Java. This all basically groups do the subscription of this text. If, for example, Microsoft want to display the text box in their Microsoft software, basically that is the .NET, ASP, then basically they are basically supposed to do the subscription. This subscription basically can be in the mode of tax amount also basically. So few group basically pay the tax, few group basically pay the money basically. So that basically depends upon the company owner. For example, Microsoft basically he is not a king basically, but few people says that SAP company owner basically is the king of any city basically. So it can be any city basically. So I'm not telling the exact name basically, but it's like that what it is. So few group basically pay the money, few group basically pay the tax amount, few group basically pay the money basically in the form of what basically that depends upon the owner's mode basically. If he is a normal owner basically like Microsoft, that is the Bill Gates, then basically he pays the tax amount. For example, Sam basically is the owner of the, sorry, he is the king basically of any of the city basically. Then he basically pay the special amounts basically. So that basically depends upon the, but who to whom basically they are paying. That basically is very difficult to track basically. So that's basically one digital system basically. It might be created basically by set of group basically. So for example, one of the person told like India basically the all the Indian businessmen basically are paying the money to government, right? Basically, all Indian businessmen basically are paying money to the tax amount to the Indian government basically. So where Indian government basically are paying the money, there also might be the question. No, basically. Indian government also basically might be paying the money to set of groups basically. So that is what set of groups. So here basically the question is the government, Indian government is also paying the money so that the text box can be displayed in the Indian environment, basically the India country. For example, in India country, basically there are more than 30,000 cities, right? More than basically. So 30,000 cities basically are in websites. Basically, they are able to display the text box. They are able to display the check boxes. They are able to see the radio button. They are able to see the push button basically in the web browser basically. So how that basically is getting displayed basically. So that is basically the Indian governments are paying the money to the set of groups basically. So that is also basically one of the stuff basically. So this is basically the question basically of the this web seminar basically. Web stream basically also you can say. This can you can able to view the more detail basically in the my channel basically. That basically is you can write the YouTube basically Sunil R Nair Vadodara city. You can able to view the channel basically. So this is basically sign of mail and sign of conversation of where the money basically is getting credited.